When you're planning to buy a wheelchair accessible vehicle, you have to be sure that every equipment you pick works for your program. It's easy to overlook the ramp and focus on the vehicle model. But understanding how each ramp works is a huge part of making this decision. Hi, it's Dev from Move Mobility, and we've been helping individuals and organizations across Canada for over 20 years. In this video, I'll be showing you the 4 most asked questions about the wheelchair ramps. The real difference between manual and powered ramps, the safety rules behind slope, what to expect for lifespan, and finally, how to check your system if it ever stops working. The first question that we usually tackle would be the manual versus the powered ramp. There's always this assumption that if it's powered, it's better, but it's not always the case. Powered ramps are great for independence because it allows the user to get in and outside the vehicle without any assistance. However, the powered ramps have more moving parts, motors, sensors, and wiring, which means that there are more parts that can break down over time. On the other hand, manual ramps are incredibly simple. You can fold them in and out by using your hand, so that way you won't rely on the vehicle battery or any electrical components. For organization in colder climates, such as in northern Canada, these manual ramps are preferred as they do not freeze when it gets extremely cold. This manual ramp is also preferred by the rural communities in Canada, as they don't have to worry about finding a mechanic when there are no shops available nearby. It really comes down to your specific needs. If you live in a rural and a remote community with extreme weather conditions, a manual ramp would be the best for you. And if you're still debating on which equipment would be the best for your wheelchair van, we have another video which you can watch on the link below that covers wheelchair ramps versus lifts. You might have heard the term 4-to-1 slope thrown around. It might sound technical, but actually it's straightforward. A 4-to-1 slope means for every inch of ramp height, you need 4 inches of ramp length. For example, if your van entrance is 6 inches off the ground, your ramp length needs to be 24 inches. This ratio is crucial because that shows how steep the ramp will be. If you're buying a used van, this is something that you really want to watch out for. Sometime the last owner of a used van might have a ramp installed for their specific needs, but it could be way steeper for you. If a ramp in the van is too steep, it will be difficult for the caregiver to push a wheelchair inside the van. It is even more dangerous when the wheelchair is coming out of the vehicle, because then the passenger can lose control and fall down. This is why you should stick to the 4-to-1 ratio rule to make every ride safe and smooth. The other common question is how long these ramps last. Generally, most transit-grade ramps are built to last approximately 10,000 cycles. That number might seem abstract, so let's break it down. Let's say you are a high-frequency user which uses this ramp 10 times every single day. So you will be looking at a lifespan of almost 3 years before you look into a replacement or a major service. And if you use the ramp less often, it will naturally last longer. The key to that 10,000 cycles or beyond is regular maintenance. Keeping the track debris-free like small rocks, and also servicing the ramp every 6 months will keep it running smoothly. And finally, let's take a look on what to do if your ramp stops working. Now, we also have a full video that will show you how to troubleshoot the ramp step by step. If you're currently stuck, I would recommend looking at the video down below. But for a high-level overview, if your powered ramp is not working, do not panic. It is rarely a broken motor on these ramps. Most of the time, it is the interlock system. This interlock system prevents the ramp from working unless your van is secured. So let's start by checking these 3 things. Number 1, if the transmission is in park. And number 2 will be checking if the parking brake is engaged. And number 3 would be to check if the doors are fully opened. If any of those are off, even if the doors in the van are slightly closed, the interlock system would not send any power to your powered ramp. We hope this video helped to clear out some of the mystery around wheelchair ramps. Whether you choose manual or powered, or just trying to figure out if your current setup is safe, the goal is to always keep your passenger moving comfortably. If this video has helped you, please give us a like and make sure you hit the subscribe button, which will help us to bring more informative videos to you. And if you have any questions, write down in the comments below. We are always here to help.